The search for Cartithia begins as Rover and Abby discover her messy, unsteady traces leading toward the archipelago of Septimont. Given the recent defeat of the Thernodians, her sudden disappearance is highly alarming, prompting an urgent mission to find her before the trail goes cold. Before setting off, Rover contacts Cartithia to gather intelligence on their destination. She describes Septimont as a militaristic city-state of warriors, operating under the creed of all for glory, fear no death. They revere mortal heroes over the divinity of the Sentinel, a stark contrast to Raguna. Cartithia explains Septimont's unique culture, noting their open attitude toward outlanders despite Raguna's own strict controls. The city is currently hosting the Great Aegon, a massive gladiatorial tournament, creating a chaotic but opportune environment for Rover to conduct their search for Cartithia discreetly. Upon arriving in Septimont, Rover is concerned when Abby's test mark shows no response, a troubling silence. Rover recalls how Cartithia had previously managed to help with Abby's symptoms, reinforcing the urgency of finding her, not just for her safety, but for her unique and vital knowledge. Using their shared connection to the Imperator's power, Rover attempts to locate Cartithia. The effort conjures a brief but revealing vision, Cartithia confronting a formidable half-human, half-lion creature. This vision provides the first concrete clue, confirming her presence and recent involvement in a serious conflict. At a bustling ferry stop, Rover gets their first taste of local life, overhearing passionate discussions about the Great Aegon. The citizens' intense fervor for the gladiator teams, especially the Blue Furies, immediately highlights the central role that combat and glory play in Septimont's society. After describing the creature from the vision, locals identify it as Arsinosa, the Lioness of Glory, Septimont's revered guardian echo. They explain that Arsinosa only manifests during the Great Aegon, giving Rover a clear objective: they must attend the tournament to get closer to the truth. Rover senses a peculiar, unstable frequency emanating from a nearby echo. It feels similar to the anomalies in Raguna, but is being distorted by some unknown interference. This subtle wrongness, which only Rover can perceive, introduces the central mystery of the strange anomaly slowly gripping the city. A mysterious traveling talisman named Blaine approaches, claiming to know Rover through Jinsen. She speaks in riddles, warning of bad feng shui and a deadlock in the city's fate, cryptically implying that Rover's arrival is a pivotal event destined to break the strange stalemate. Rover is suddenly ambushed but is unexpectedly saved by a fierce gladiator named Lupa. She deftly handles the attackers, led by her ex-partner Emilio, and furiously accuses them of using dirty tricks and attempting to fix matches before the Aegon even officially begins, establishing her strong moral code. Lupa introduces herself, impressed by Rover's combat prowess. She explains that the ambush was likely arranged by the powerful House of Silver, her former patrons. Their relationship soured after she discovered and refused to participate in their widespread match-fixing schemes, providing context for her current predicament. Recognizing Rover as a powerful and independent warrior with no local ties, Lupa makes a bold proposition. She asks Rover to team up with her to compete in the Great Aegon Finals, not just for victory, but to defiantly challenge and expose the deep-seated corruption in the arena. Rover agrees to Lupa's proposal, seeing the tournament as the most direct path to investigating Arsinosa and uncovering clues about Cartithia's whereabouts. With the alliance formed, the Great Aegon becomes the stage for both Lupa's fight for justice and Rover's desperate search for their friend. At the registration booth, Lupa officially forms their new team, which Rover names Wandering Waves. To fast-track their path to the finals, Lupa applies for the special qualifier, an intense trial that requires them to defeat higher-ranked opponents, immediately setting up their first major challenge. Following their first decisive victory, Lupa is ecstatic, feeling a renewed sense of life and purpose in the fight. Their impressive performance also attracts a swarm of small, cheerful creatures called Tiddas, who celebrate their win, highlighting the powerful and positive synergy building between the two warriors. Mobbed by enthusiastic fans after their win, the quick-thinking Lupa grabs Rover's hand and engineers a swift escape. This moment showcases her charismatic yet pragmatic approach to fame. She explains her plan to use their victories to disrupt the illegal betting schemes run by the nobles. Lupa is confronted by her former manager Cartithia, who warns her about the risks of defying the influential House of Silver. Unfazed, Lupa stands her ground, expressing unwavering confidence in her new partnership with Rover and boldly questioning who truly holds the power in Septimont's shifting landscape. In a moment of quiet, Rover experiences another strange vision of Cartithia, this time standing mysteriously upon the surface of water. At the same time, the unsettling, abnormal frequency from the city's echoes intensifies, reinforcing the chilling fact that something is profoundly wrong in Septimont. Lupa arranges lodgings for Rover as they plan for the semifinals. Rover mentions their feeling that Cartithia was near a body of water. Lupa directs them to an old, abandoned part of the city, readily agreeing to help them search, demonstrating her growing loyalty and trust. Rover attempts to use their special connection to find Cartithia's traces near the abandoned waters, but the effort is frustratingly unsuccessful. Lupa offers comfort and encouragement, suggesting they refocus on their solid lead with Arsenosa, showing her supportive nature despite not understanding the full strange situation. A new vision reveals a past event where Cartithia aids a disoriented woman who has lost her name and memories, a victim of a mysterious tidal blight. Introducing herself as a wandering knight, Cartithia vows to protect the woman, showcasing her heroic efforts before her own disappearance. As they approach the Colosseum, Lupa explains the brutal meritocracy of Septimont's nobility. The Aegon serves as a crucible. Nobles who fail to prove their strength lose their status and wealth. This system ensures only the most capable warriors retain power, cementing the city's ruthless ethos. While dining at a tavern, Lupa learns that restored footage of past gladiators is available, including a famous contender named Mia. Lupa expresses deep admiration for Mia, who vanished mysteriously years ago during a great Aegon, praising the passion and heart evident in her fighting style. In a moment of vulnerability, Lupa confesses her fears to Rover, questioning whether her love for gladiating is genuine or merely tied to the fame it provides. Rover's simple yet profound response, "It's my life to live," inspires her to embrace her own choices without regret. Rover is visited in a dreamlike state by Frollova, a Fraxidus overseer. She reveals that Septimont is merely a story crafted by her associate, and hands Rover a book containing its plot. She ominously claims Lupa is destined to unleash a dark tide, a fate Rover can only prevent by killing her. Frollova elaborates on the grim choice, warning that hesitation or attempting to warn Lupa will lead to unimaginable consequences. She frames this as a crucial test of Rover's character and adds another layer of intrigue by revealing her associate is someone Rover has already encountered. Lupa and Rover learn they are slated to face the House of Silver in the semi-finals. Lupa is unfazed, seeing it as an inevitable and arrogant provocation from her former patron, Domina Julia. She is resolute in her goal to prove that pure strength, not rigged matches, determines victory. During the match, Lupa's spear, a former gift from Domina Julia, maliciously turns against her and nearly strikes Rover. Lupa seizes the moment, publicly accusing House Silver of sabotage. Julia denies everything, attempting to frame Lupa as an ungrateful traitor, creating a tense public showdown. The highly respected priestess Yuno intervenes. Using her powerful foresight, she declares House Silver guilty of desecrating the sacred arena. Her judgment is absolute, and Ephor Augusta acts swiftly, banishing the entire house from Septimont in a dramatic and decisive purge of their corruption. In the wake of the Silver's banishment, Lupa's old manager, Carter, opportunistically offers to represent her again. Ever the sharp negotiator, Lupa agrees but dictates new terms, fully aware that Carter was complicit in the previous corruption by choosing to turn a blind eye. Rover senses the distinct frequencies of the Threnodian and the dark tide on Lupa's spear. a chilling confirmation that Frollova's warning may hold some truth. Lupa, however, remains oblivious to this magical interference, attributing the incident solely to the Silver's mundane treachery and desperation. Blaine reappears, confirming Rover's growing suspicion that a powerful anomaly has taken hold of Septimont. Bound by Taoist rules, she cannot explain directly, but gives Rover a magical mirror. She cryptically advises that seeing isn't believing, providing a tool to perceive the city's hidden reality. Through Blaine's mirror, Rover peers into the past, witnessing the events surrounding the tragic gladiator Mia. They learn she was suffering from severe hysteria and hallucinations, manipulated by her manager, John, and entangled in the dark underbelly of illegal betting schemes run by the city's nobles. The vision reveals a deeply tormented Mia, who genuinely loves the art of gladiating, but is crumbling under the immense pressure to win and her desperate need for money. This heartbreaking moment exposes the immense psychological toll of Septimont's high-stakes, glory-obsessed culture on its brightest stars. Another vision reveals Cartithia working alongside a past version of Lupa, whose memory has been wiped. Cartithia explains that the anomaly stems from a power that rewound time itself. Together, they investigate the phenomenon, holding on to the belief that Rover will eventually arrive to help them. Rover questions the present-day Lupa about Mia, who recounts the official story she heard from Domina Julia, that Mia was an ignorant fool who couldn't handle the pressure. This narrative starkly contrasts with Lupa's personal admiration for Mia's dedication, highlighting the conflicting stories surrounding the lost gladiator. Lupa recounts the brutal history of the bloody Aegon, the merciless free-for-all tournament format from years past in which Mia was crowned champion. The organizers would unleash hordes of tacit discords into the arena, with the last gladiator left standing declared the sole victor. Upon winning the final, Rover experiences a jarring, disorienting flash of another reality. For a moment, it feels as if their victory occurred in the brutal, bloody Aegon of the past. The world flickers, and the identities of Lupa and Mia begin to overlap, signaling a climax. A flashback reveals Cartithia confronting the Fraxidus overseer Cristoforo, the self-proclaimed author of the tragedy. He mockingly claims the people of Septimont were the true architects of Mia's downfall. Defiantly, Cartithia vows that Rover will come and help her derail his perfect story. At the Veil of Glory, a shrine for fallen heroes' weapons, the lioness Arsenosa guides them. Lupa explains that touching the weapons lets champions hear ancestral voices. Rover finally understands this sacred place is the true source of the unstable, anomalous frequency they've been sensing all along. As the anomaly intensifies, Rover assembles the puzzle. Mia, a secret follower of the Order, was corrupted by the Threnodian. The Fraxidus is now using her tragic story as a repeating template to destabilize all of Septimont, with Lupa unwittingly cast as the protagonist in the current loop. Lupa confesses to experiencing unsettling memory lapses and feeling lost, sensing the immense gravity of the situation. She places her absolute trust in Rover's judgment, asking them to do whatever is necessary to protect her honor, solidifying their profound bond right before the final confrontation. A corrupted sword points the way underground, leading them to a startling discovery. Septimont has its own Genesis Nexus, a hidden source of Sentinel Imperator power. This nexus is the ultimate prize, a fact explaining the anomaly's focus on the city and its champions who can access such sacred sites. The trio confronts the anomaly's core, which reveals itself as a powerful fragment of the Threnodian that has stolen Sentinel knowledge. It declares its sinister intention to usurp Lupa's role as the story's protagonist to achieve its dark ambitions, setting the stage for the ultimate narrative battle. Cartithia reveals the true nature of their reality, a story caught in a repeating loop, with new pages layering over the old. She explains that her actions in a previous loop saved Lupa and altered the narrative, creating an opening for Rover to arrive and finally break the cycle. With her memories of past loops fully restored, Lupa now understands the entire conspiracy. The Fraxidus created a Sonoro, a pocket dimension of repeating stories, to nurture the Threnodian fragment. She recalls working with Cartithia to hunt the monster's true form in the city's submerged depths. A flashback shows Cartithia comforting a past version of Lupa Mia, whose very existence has been erased from the story. Cartithia gives her hope, promising that the rover will eventually come to help them reshape the twisted narrative and reclaim what was stolen from her. Lupa fully realizes that both Cartithia and Rover made critical sacrifices on previous pages of the story to ensure the new loop had a fighting chance. This is why her identity was suppressed until Rover's arrival. The monster's plan was to use Mia's template to corrupt Septimont forever. The full conspiracy is laid bare in a flashback. Fraxidus Cristoforo, Domina Julia, and the Threnodian fragment collaborated. Decades ago, they recovered Mia's body to use as a blueprint for a story powerful enough to rewrite reality and allow the Threnodian to engulf Septimont in a dark tide. Mia's complete tragedy is revealed. Unable to fight off the Threnodian's corruption as Cartithia did, she made a final, desperate choice. She drove a sword into her own heart and leaped into the sea. A dramatic death the cruel Fraxidus Cristoforo found to be beautifully poetic. The Threnodian manifests as Mia, confronting Lupa directly. It viciously mocks Septimont's ideals and claims Lupa as its creation. It attempts to shatter her spirit by insisting the city never loved her and has long forgotten her, preying on the deepest fears of any Septimontian gladiator. Lupa soundly rejects the Threnodian's twisted worldview. Inspired by Rover's trust, Cartithia's sacrifice, and Mia's strength, she finds a new clarity. She declares that the people of Rhinocidus belong to no gods and will forge their own destiny, free from cosmic manipulation. Fully embracing her identity and the indomitable spirit of Septimont, Lupa makes a powerful declaration. Glory isn't merely about winning, it's about blazing with defiant fury until the very end. With this profound realization, she unleashes her full power to permanently slay the Threnodian. With the Threnodian's defeat, the anomaly shatters and reality is restored. Rover, Cartithia, and Lupa are safely reunited in the real Septimont. A confused Abby awakens, and the group agrees it's time to compare their experiences and piece together the full, twisted story they just survived. Cartithia explains what occurred after Lupa vanished into the story's core. She discovered a hidden repository of knowledge that the Sentinel transferred to Septimont's central hub long ago, before its own memories were lost. This cache contains a special frequency, a secret clue meant only for Rover. Cartithia now believes the Fraxidus' ultimate goal is not just chaos, but the Sentinel's hidden secret inside the hub. The clue points them toward the hunting grounds, an area still shrouded in a blight cloud. While this marks the next step, they agree to take a well-deserved rest first. In a poignant ceremony, Lupa takes Mia's recovered sword to the place where she died, finally giving her a hero's resting place. She believes Mia would have wanted to rest there, surrounded by tributes from supporters, at last honoring the gladiator who had been forgotten by history. While sharing a drink, Lupa reflects on the future. The corrupt Silvers will face justice, and Augusta's reforms will strengthen the city. She muses on alternate paths her life could have taken, but concludes she is content, as every hardship ultimately led her to her friendship with Rover. Cartithia shares her own sense of resolution. Her dream of becoming a roving knight has been fulfilled in an unexpected manner. She located her adoptive parents, who no longer remember her but are living happily. She finds a profound peace in this outcome, finally free from her past. Ultimately, Cartithia is content. The chaotic winds of fate brought her everything she ever wanted, just not in the way she imagined. She has found her family, is ready to see the world, and is at peace with her past, fully prepared to embrace the future.